live time. We're actually going to honor those of you who have unique God-given gifts and talents, and unique is the correct word to be using here. I always say it, come as you are. I don't care if you have much or little, or if you are incapable of breaking a bone, or if you break every bone in your body. I'm glad you're here. Let me know in the chat something unique that you have. You can boast. That's what we're going to do. We're going to boast on some people. I'm Nathan, and you're you, and it's Tuesday. That's what J-Bro used to say. All right, real life people with real life superpowers. If you like Marvel or DC, let me know in the chat. Let's start a fight. Daniel Kish, echolocation. Echolocation. You know who does echolocation? Do you know? Dolphins. Good job. Good job. Yep. Daniel Kish, who lost his eyesight to cancer as a baby, he developed his own echolocation system using tongue clicks to navigate his environment by listening to the echoes, allowing him to create a 3D mental image of his surroundings. Our brains are incredible things. I once read a few days ago where what we think in our heads and our minds, we have to create and to see through. Like we have to see to fruition. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I just looked. That's what it is. And I'm glad that you're here on our live. And we're actually going to honor God-given talents, this whole idea of coming as you are. And we're going to talk tonight about real life, real people with real life superpowers. Superpowers, it's a blanket statement because you think of Marvel or is it DC? Let me know in the chat, are you a Marvel or are you a DC person? And let's start a fight and war on this Tuesday. That's what J-Bro used to say. He wouldn't say D, he'd say Tuesday. Chew, like chewing gum, which apparently is still illegal. Kentucky. Do you know why? Let me know in the comments, in the chat. The chat comments, the chat. All right. Come as you are. I say it all the time. It doesn't matter if you have much or if you have little, or if your bones can't break, or if your bones break all the time. What's something that you're proud of? What's a talent, gift that you have? You can brag on yourself, because we're going to brag right now on Daniel Kish, who has echolocation. Echolocation. Do you know who has echolocation abilities besides Daniel Kish? Dolphins. Good job. Yeah. Daniel Kish lost his eyesight to cancer as a baby, developed his own echolocation system using tongue clicks to navigate his environment by listening to the echoes, allowing him to create a 3D mental image of his surroundings. That's amazing. Our brains are impeccable. They're impeccable muscles. I read something the other day. It was talking about how your brain, if I'm creating these negative thoughts, we're a being that has to see that through. So if my brain is thinking of negative things all the time, then of course that becomes the reality, the negative space that I live in or that I'm sitting in. Or so if I'm able to alter my brain to think positive, to think real, to manifest things that are going to happen or I will achieve, kind of like the latest episode of the podcast, You'll Die Trying, the impossible dream. It's only impossible because people say it is. People suck, generally speaking, not as a whole. Anyway, think positive. And Daniel Kish, he's like, it's all he's known is not being able to see. And I think about those things often in the sense of like someone who has Alzheimer's or dementia. That's a really sad disease, and it takes people away. And years of, on the other side of it, the children, the grandchildren, the family members watching someone deteriorate as far as they know. And I think about the brains and the spaces of the demented, the dementia patients or the Alzheimer patients. Are they in utopia? Right? Are they in this world that they don't care? But we see what was taken from them. Does that make sense? I don't know. But Daniel Kish's case, he never saw. So he's living his best life. And he's like, I need to navigate this place in space, so I'm going to create my own thing. And he did. I wonder if he did take after dolphins. I know that sounds weird, but maybe he was watching a show and listening to the show, and the show itself was talking about echolocation. He's like, I'm going to figure that out. Maybe not. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Have you ever seen how dolphins will do that? Killer whales, I think, do echolocation too. I think whales do that in general, maybe. I don't know. I need to. David Attenborough, hello? Can you help me? He's not here. He's not. Another thing about 3D, if you've watched like wireless and Wi-Fi and what they're able to do now, they're able to take the Wi-Fi signals that bounce off of walls and people, and they're able to see in real time where you are in your home. It's crazy. Technology. Wim Hof. Resistance to cold. Now, before I read this, did you know that there are, is it Russia? I probably should know where it is first. Finland? Somewhere where it's really cold. Parents will put their babies outside in like strollers and it's like snowy and stuff to acclimate them to cold weather because it's cold all the time and the babies are fine. Our bodies are pretty powerful things. Right now we have a heater, a space heater because it's cold here in the studio. It's just a studio. Resistance to cold, known as the Iceman. Wim Hof has the superhuman ability to withstand extreme cold temperatures, attributing his endurance to specialized breathing techniques that influence his body's response to cold. Our bodies are incredible things. Incredible. We're so different. We're so unique. And this guy, Mr. Iceman, remember what movie? Is it Icebox? It's the Icebox. Icebox? Icebox. I can't think. There's a kids movie where I think there's a character. Their nickname is Icebox. What movie is that? Let me know in the chat. 2 points if you get it right. And also, just to let you know, every piece of merch that you buy from here on out, I'm going to send a limited edition. This is from yesterday. I still have it here. I need to send that out. Limited edition of, that's the first ever release called the Say Something. You can't get this stuff. It's not streaming on digital service platforms. It's not, but last time it is. It's number 12 still at radio. I'm really excited. I'm going to send these out myself for free. Everything that you buy from here on out until while supplies last. While supplies last. Okay. I said that, right? While supplies last, because I don't want to get emails and messages and all of thousands of other things that we already get and sift through and be like, we said while supplies last. While supplies last. Get you some merch. Get this. While supplies last. Dean Karnazes. Endless running. I was running. Ultra marathon runner Dean Karnazes possesses a unique physiology. Yeah. Physiology. Okay. Yeah. That lacks a lactate threshold, theoretically allowing him to run indefinitely without experiencing muscle fatigue or the typical wall that runners hit. I have what many don't really achieve per se all the time. It's called a runner's high. It's like this euphoric feeling where it's a lot of people contribute it or relate it to like the way a sexual feeling would be, but not sexual. Runner's high is so real. When you hit that moment, it's just this euphoric thing and it feels so good. And they're only comparing it to a sexual thing because everyone be like, oh yeah. But runner's high is great. This guy doesn't get fatigued to run, theoretically, running forever. That's wild. That's incredible, really. I mean, I love running. Running. Every time I hear that, say that word, I was running. Do you like to run? Some people really hate it. I love running. Running. You can't say biscuits with a lisp without laughing either, by the way. Try it. And then send me a smiley in the chat. Elaine Robert, free solo climbing. No, thank you. I already feel like I'm going to throw up thinking about this. I'm the guy that when I walk by a body of water, I'll look at my phone and I think about throwing it in the water. And then I have to talk myself off the ledge to not throw it in the water. It's a really stupid thing and problem. I get it. Same thing as free climbing. I think I'm going to climb free and then I'm just going to let go. It's not because I want to fall. I'll continue. Elaine Robert, dubbed the French Spider-Man, exhibits extraordinary climbing abilities, scaling skyscrapers worldwide without the use of safety gear, relying solely on his skill and physical prowess. 30 Seconds to Mars, of course, Jared Leto, to promote their album, he scaled a building, but he was tethered. He was tethered. Pfft. Elaine, no tethering, no whatsoever. So I guess that's the guy that I've seen videos on, just traveling around the globe and climbing. Why? Have you seen the videos of people on top of like the towers, whether they're, I don't know, radio towers and people falling? Oh, it's awful. It's awful. Are you fearful of heights? Do you have the same problem as me? Is that your superpower like mine, is you take your phone and you want to throw it in water? I don't know why I want to do that. Maybe I should promote last time by climbing and scaling a building without a rope. Well, this might be my last time. That's stupid. That's dumb. That wasn't even funny. It's not even funny. It's okay because the studio's done. I said that yesterday, and then you saw did a little pan. It's finished. It is officially finished. All of the cable management is managed. The lights are in place. The only thing I have left to do is plug in that damn projector cord. Just plug it in. But it's done. Done. Complete. Finito. Mary Lou Henner. Total Recall. It's a movie, actually. And if you're forgetting what we're doing and talking about, I have this whole thing about come as you are. I'm so grateful that you possess and have the abilities and characteristics that you have that make you you, because you're unique, you're valued, you are worthy to be loved and cared for. It doesn't matter if you have much or little, or if you climb a building with the rope or not. This is what we're talking about. Mary Lou, actress Mary Lou Henner, has highly superior autobiographical memory, HSAM, enabling her to recall virtually every detail of her life, a rare condition shared by fewer than 100 people worldwide. This is, I wonder, similar to that of the people who can remember their actual childbirth. So they talk about how it is it's a traumatic experience for an infant to be born. You know, there's probably a lot of pain for the baby too, so they forget it. Also, your brain develops over time and you forget that memory. But there are people who can recall their births. And I have a friend, John, who says he can. And I wouldn't doubt him because he's 24 years now in the military. He flies Blackhawks, and he's like, is he lieutenant colonel or is he major still? John, are you lieutenant colonel or major? Anyway, he can recall his birth. And this is very interesting. This would be a curse. Think about everything that's happened in your life that you can recall. Most of it's good. There are some bad things. There were things that people wronged you, or not that I want you to harp on that, but being able to reflect in such vivid detail those moments would be very hard, I feel. Let me know in the chat. I have a great memory. I really do. Elephants also can recall anything. Elephants also will mourn and remember and memorialize someone in their herd that dies. Every year, whenever they travel, David Attenborough can attest, when they travel, if they've lost a fellow elephant in that spot and place where that elephant had died, they will stop on their travels forever and ever, years, decades, whatever, and will mourn, will remember. It's pretty wild. They have incredible memories. I wonder if they have HSAM. 100 people, fewer than 100 people. Yeah, let me know. Do you want to have HSAM? I mean, would you want to be able to recall everything? Javier Botet, hyperflexibility. This is interesting. Javier, he's an actor. I think that's how you say his last name. He benefits from Marfan syndrome, which grants him hyperflexibility and an exceptionally slender physique, making him a sought-after actor for playing eerie and supernatural roles in horror films. So he's the guy that like crawls like a crazy, creepy person that you think is special effects. It's not. It's not special effects. It's just him being a creep with his hyperflexibility. I was flexible. I mean, it's amazing how when we get older, you're just not using it as much. My kids were outside yesterday shooting baskets in 47-degree weather, and I was freezing cold. Well, same thing as Wim Hof. He was probably like, you're a sissy. Well, my kids had short sleeve shirts on and they were playing basketball. They're like, yeah, Dad, it's not cold at all. I had like 3 layers. I was freezing. But hyperflexibility, being flexible, being able to bend the knee. There was a crash, an airplane, commercial plane, and there was someone wrote on the teleprompter, and the anchor read it, and it says the pilot's name was Wee Too Low. I have experienced teleprompter before. It's not good. Like when I go live on TikTok, if you don't follow me over there, Nathan Morris Music, and I'm live and I'm reading comments, and people like will slip in something. You have filters on, but sometimes they get around the filter, and you're reading, and you're like, you have to stop. It's a real thing. I'm sure after the fact, but they've already owned it. We Too Low. Connecticut family. Oh, an entire family, unbreakable bones. It's interesting at the beginning of the podcast. This isn't a podcast. This is not a podcast, everyone. No, it is not. But you can listen to the podcast. You'll Die Trying, or you can subscribe to Bonus Noise. It's like the podcast after the podcast's podcast. But this is not. This is alive. Stop yelling. Connecticut family has an ability to break bones, apparently. That's interesting. They possess an unusual genetic mutation, resulting in extremely high bone density, rendering their bones virtually unbreakable. A trait that has attracted the attention of medical researchers. There's even a movie called Unbreakable where the guy can't get broken bones, and it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. And then, of course, the guy that does, he breaks every bone, and he's constantly in a state of brokenness. It's really sad. Do you have any bone-breaking stories? I've never broken a bone. Never. But I do have a stitches story, and this is, you see that right there? This is not an attempt. Apparently, by the way, if you go this way, it's attention. This way means business. I was doing washing my hands after an embalming in the side room. This is in 2014, right before Anderson was born. He was born in March, and this was in February of 2014. And the old sink, cold handle nozzle that turns on and off broke, and I fell forward. Gross. I can still feel it. It was awful. But this is the only, well, in this, I fell off a fence, but these are the only things that have happened to me. Have you had a broken bone? I think that not having a broken bone is great, but having super dense bones, I wonder if that will add to their mobility challenges and as they age. You know, having a dense bone. I don't know. Well, your bones get more brittle as you go. I don't know. Guys, I'm not a doctor. Quit yelling at me. I'm a musician and mortician. By the way, April 18th, I'll be at Somewhere Nowhere in New York City. New York City! And we're playing other places, but we have a lot coming up. I'm really pumped about it. You got to get your merch, though, because you got to come to the show with the merch on. Everybody get your merch on. Oh. Stop. Cheryl Maynard, no fingerprints. All the crime videos, all the crime docs, all the crime podcasts. So theoretically, this chick could get away with murder. If, in fact, she is mindful of all the technology around her, but usually you don't really have someone that's thinking about all the above. Cheryl has adermatolabla, a rare condition that results in the absence of fingerprints, making her one of the few people in the world who lacks this unique identifying feature. I don't know how to say this word. Adermatogly, FIA. I guess it's adermatoglyphia. Adermatoglyphia? Adermatoglyphia? Yeah, I always think it's really interesting how we all have a unique fingerprint. Maybe he was holding my hand yesterday. He's like, Daddy, your hands are rough. Listen to this. If you can hear it. I don't know if the mic's like compressing it or what. Yeah, I need to put lotion on, in other words. My 5-year-old said so. Yeah, if you have no fingerprints, and if you are not caught on camera or not driving a vehicle that has a GPS in it, or not taking your phone where it pings off of cell towers, yeah, I mean, I do. I go down these rabbit holes, and don't have shoes on that have shoe prints, you can Okay. Veronica. Oh, Veronica Vaughn. Name the movie. Veronica Cider Supervision. Super space vision, not supervise. Veronica claims to have visual acuity 20 times better than the average person, allowing her to see small objects from great distances and distinguish individual pixels on a TV screen. Could you imagine trying to watch TV, but you're able to see like the pixel? I mean, that would be obnoxious. Now, if she claims, like, can't you go to the eye doctor and be like, hey, doc, can you put me like 100 yards away and I'll read that EDADGBT on there? I have perfect vision now. When I was I guess I was 10 or 11 years old, I was playing on the Southern All-Star baseball team. I was center field in practice. They had a pop fly to me, and the ball just drills me in my face. And I had been telling my mom, I need glasses. My eyes are blurry. I can't see very well. Well, I went home with a broken face, and she was like, I think you need glasses. So I got the coolest glasses because Chad Norris had glasses, and I wanted those teardrops. Those things were awesome. Just picture like the aviators that are cool, like the cool Ray-Ban aviators. And then these were not cool, and they didn't look like that, but that's the only way I can describe it. And I had my mushroom cut. Man, I was sexy. But I had glasses, and then I had contacts, and then I had, I guess it's called ASA. I don't know what it's called now, but John Kenyon, world renowned, shot lasers in my eye and reformed my cornea. It's the United States Air Force. They do that for their pilots' vision, and it doesn't go away. Kind of like LASIK, where they do the flip, and after like 15 years, you have a regression. This doesn't. But I do not have super vision. I don't. Let me know. Do you have LASIK? Do you have glasses, contacts? Chat? People? Chat? Let me know in chat. SM? No fear. Oh. Only known as SM. Has Weich disease, which has damaged parts of her brain associated with fear response, making her incapable of feeling fear under almost all circumstances except suffocation. Fear is a natural response. Like, fear is a gauge. It's like a temperature. It's a thermometer. It's like, I don't want to go into those rapids because I'll die. I'll go in those rapids. I think it helps keep us alive. Fear does. And I think also fear is a great tool to really, I don't know what's the word I'm trying to use. Like, I'm scared as hell as I work on my new show for the show specifically, which kind of is going to start everything April 18th in New York City. I'm so scared of that show because when I get to the other side of it, I think it'll help me realize that, wow, I wrangled it. What am I trying to say? I don't know. It's just a really good tool to use to take a temperature, to make sure that you're not going to walk in oncoming traffic, get hit by a car, for one. But two, I think it's good to be fearful because that helps us. That helps us to refine our process or to get better or to grow and overcome, if you will. That's a powerful thing too, to overcome a fear, an obstacle, a challenge. What is something that you're scared to absolute death of? I have a song called Scared to Death, not Scared to Absolute Death. I'm scared to absolute death of death. That would be a interesting song title. What's something that's scary as hell to you? Let me know in the chat. I think it's interesting that people want to put us into boxes. They want to so badly, and I talked about it in the podcast yesterday, this impossible dream. You know, the guidance counselor, they want to put you in the box because you got to go work for the man. Well, do you like numbers? Well, then you must be an accountant and you will go and work for this CPA firm. Well, the CPA firm was started by someone or someone's making them their own business and entity. So they started and they now employ people, right? But you must be the employed. You can't be the employer. And your idea that is kind of outside of the realm and world of this box that everyone now has to be put in, it doesn't work because I said it, because it goes against the norm. Oh, you need to, I don't like that. I think it's important for you to be acknowledging the fact that you are different. You're made up different. And if it doesn't fit into a norm, it's okay. It's okay. I remember my friend TJ, his guidance counselor said, yeah, you should definitely consider, and I won't go into too particular of detail because I don't want to give it away, but your resume is all over the board, and yeah. It sounds like I'm mocking, because in a sense I am. It's like, don't squash it, dream. At senior in high school, junior in high school, we're meant to think big. And the people who have been suppressed for so long that they just succumb to this suppression, like, I guess I'll just be this forever. I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. I'd done that to a degree. And maybe you are. And that's what the podcast was about. And that's, in the weirdest of ways, talking about superhuman strengths and powers and abilities and all that. It's like, just because people say you can't or you can or you should or you shouldn't doesn't mean that if it's legal, if it's ethical, then hell, do it or don't do it. I don't know why people feel that they have to fit into this cookie cutter role because they were told to. Like, we just, okay, golden retriever, you be a good little boy or girl. This is me, and I'm now getting over here. We were talking about climbing buildings and shit, and now I'm over here talking about, you can definitely rewrite it. You can rewrite the script. You can flip it. And you don't have to succumb to someone else's idea of what you should or shouldn't do. Oh, well, that doesn't generate revenue over here, or that doesn't make you get paid every 2 weeks or weekly. Oh, well, that doesn't provide health insurance. Oh, well, if you do that, then that doesn't supply you with a cell phone. I mean, who cares? I think find what you love and be nerdy about it. You know what you love and do it. Go against the grain. The grain, in the words of my Scottish friend who I watch his tutorials on how to cut your own hair during COVID. You're welcome, people. It's important. It really is important. I think it's only fitting. Superpowers, superhuman, super whatever. You are that too. Just because your bones aren't as dense as the Connecticut family. It's like, who writes the rules anyway? Like, who says, like, I want to go in that rabbit hole and be like, get to the root of who says that this is status quo. This is the way to go. Status quo is the way to go. No, it's not. I don't know what else to say to rhyme there. But I'm grateful that I stopped listening to it. And I hope that you do, it's a very intentional process to stop listening to that noise, whether it's in your own head or actual real noise. And for me, it's both. But not listening to it, not giving it any power is empowering. It really is. And so the 10 people I just talked about, the superhuman strength people, these are the people that I hope maybe one of them watches. Maybe you're watching and I appreciate you. Maybe one of them are watching. Maybe you've stumbled upon a video or a podcast, wherever it is. You found me, and that's the whole purpose of why I'm doing what I do, is I just want to meet you where you are, because you are worthy and valued, and whether you scale a building or step on a scale. Which, by the way, I'm holding tight. No one ever guessed on that TikTok video. I'm still not going to say. I almost did, but I'm not going to say my exact weight, but I'm doing well. I told my dad, because remember I was 35, and he walked up with his little belly, and I'd pat him on his belly, and I said, oh, he said, you just wait. He said, I was as skinny as you until I turned 40. And then it went downhill. And so I've been bound and determined to stay fit and healthy, and I've obsessed over it. He gave me the best complex ever, really. I mean, it's just like, I'm not going to get unfit. Yeah. Do you have anything that you obsess over? No? Well, I do. I'll tell myself I don't mind. I appreciate the support. Last time is still at 12, and that's wild. That is so wild. We have April the 18th. The show is it's a showcase. It's like a party. It's like, hey, everybody, come and see what we've put together. I know that I listened to this podcast, Smart Listen, Sean, who was in, oh my gosh, Will and Grace. He does a lot of theater, and he's talking about how they have, it's almost like dress rehearsals, but it's, what's the word? That's what this is. It's like a dress rehearsal. So we're working up, gearing up for that. Kayla Diamond in Montreal, my friend and producer, she's helping build the show with all the tracks, and I'm really excited about my partnership with Titan Casket. And of course, if you absolutely want to save 50% on a casket, you can do that. You think that's a weird thing, but no. I mean, you're going to die one day, and we all are. And if you want to prepay for it, they'll hold it until you die. It's real. It's crazy, but you can save 50% through my partnership, and I'll click that. But I say that because we're incorporated. I can't tell you that. Shh, Nathan. I'm really excited. I'm nervous as hell, and I think it's okay to be nervous and scared, because that is how you gauge the temperature and you overcome objections, overcome scrutiny, overcome people's ideas of what you should or shouldn't do or be. And I think it's overcoming your own self-limiting beliefs, and that is cool. If you have an impossible dream, you can achieve that dream. Listen to the podcast and bereave it. Bereave. Thanks for supporting last time. Thanks for supporting yet. Thanks for streaming all the music. Tell the radio stations to play last time. And thanks for subscribing right here. Do you have a superpower? Let me know, because that would be neat. Then I could say I know someone who has a superpower, has a thing. Put the thing in the thing by the road. Shit, damn boy, don't you know nothing about nothing? That's what Larry said. Larry in North Carolina. That's what I'm going to end with. Larry in North Carolina gave instructions one time to Brent and I to put the thing in the thing by the road. Put the thing in the thing by the road. Shit, damn boy, don't you know nothing about nothing? I don't know what that is. I appreciate you. This has been enlightening. It's been so enlightening. I just am glad that you're here. I'm glad and hope that you realize your worth.